The recording has started, and it is immediately saying change your settings, you idiot.
Stop herding cats. Something else is time
I
to go
think
wrong.
it's okay. I think it was just the initial kind of shift of going for the recording. But hey, it'll just crash. It's the worst that'll happen is it'll crash. So. Before recapping, I guess we'll point out for the Twitch and the YouTube audience that we can now see the Twitch messages. Woo! I saw the module that lets me see when people type in chat, and it puts it into Foundry for us. I mean, obviously I can see it on the overlay anyway, because the chat box is being recorded, but it's very small for me on OBS. And I can also request roles from people in chat. Woo, yay! I can also just type into chat from Foundry, but I've also got the chat box in OBS, so I don't see the point in doing that. Just a bit of audience integration, not necessarily for Call of Cthulhu, but other game systems that we might try. I think that's really it. Would you all like me to recap for you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
go on.
Because not much happened. December 20th.
That was a good recap, right? Let's go.
December 20th, 1923. Insert radio announcer voice here. Your
King George V is king.
en route to a pre-Butlins / Center Parks holiday village on a peninsula called Hollows Point. The bus you were in nearly crashed, actually. Well, it did actually crash.
Well, it did crash, yeah.
It reached the top of a hill, and the brakes failed, and it slammed into a wall, and you were all thrown around. One of you was knocked unconscious, as was Sam, the driver. The other two of you got everyone out. The bus did not explode. Made your way down the hill for like an hour to the Hollows Point. Midway, you were met by people from Hollows Point who had seen the bus from the distance and had seen it, like, the headlights just kind of blink out suddenly, which is obviously not a good sign. And you were taken down to Hollows Point. You had a what I believe would have been called a bang up meal.
Sorry.
That's fine. Met a couple of the guests, and then went your separate ways. You did notice the ruined church in the middle of Hollows Point, and I believe two of you investigated it separately because one of you is just staying in Hollow Hall, which is where you ate. But both Alexander and John investigated the church and discovered that it is kind of mostly ruined. The door is locked, and the windows are barred is the wrong word. They've got wooden planks over them. And then you headed for your lodgings. Alexander's lodging being this building over here.
Yep.
And John's being next to the police station over here.
Nice.
And then Andrew is in Hollow Hall, up here.
Yes.
So, we wrapped up with you all sleeping. So it's I'm making the assumption here that Andrew is the kind of person who would wind his watch before going to bed.
Yes.
Okay. So the scream that wakes you, you're reasonably sure happens at 3 o'clock in the morning. Based on the watch that you have wound. You can hear footsteps in the corridor outside. You do know that you are sharing the hall with... Hang on, let me read my notes. Charlotte Bridges, who at the dinner the previous evening, you kind of worked out that she basically lives here. She's a permanent guest. As well as Maximilian Chartwell, a newspaper editor who is his first time staying here. Sebastian and Lottie, the owners of the village, they also live in the hall. And then there's a couple of staff who live on site to help with anything that may occur.
Okay. I have been rudely awakens, and a man of my age finds it very hard to go back to sleep quickly. So I'm gonna grumble and sleepily stick my head out the door and see what's going on.
Down the corridor. So because this is a hall, but it's like been converted for. It doesn't really need converting. It's a house. You idiot. As it is a stately house, the hallway is lushly carpeted. The sconces are regular and kind of, if not made of gold, at least gilded. And it does have electric lighting, and it's kind of burning the bright, hot white of early electric lighting. And you can see down at the end of the hall where it turns towards where you know the stairs to be.
Yeah.
A body on the floor, either unconscious or dead. You can't tell. They just currently aren't moving. Charlotte is standing over the body, kind of leaning against the wall, one hand to her brow, kind of the other hand holding a lace-edged handkerchief to her nose. You can see that she's panting quite heavily, probably from shock. And there is a figure, the kind of around the bend in the corridor. You can see their shadow on the wall. They appear to be holding something kind of long and cylindrical. Or long and thin, I should say. It looks like it might be cylindrical from the silhouette, but you would obviously have to get closer to find out.
I'm gonna nip back into my room and pick up my elephant gun.
Okay. I wondered how long it would take, and it's taken 6 minutes and 55 seconds according to my recording timer.
And I'm then going to
very good for this small thin corridors of a hotel.
Yeah,
Indeed.
very good. Everyone's dead.
I'm not gonna have it like cocked or anything. I'm just like, so there's a body on the floor. There's a scary silhouette. It's 3 a.m. I'm old. I'm grumpy. I'm crotchety.
That's fair.
So yeah, I'll walk down the corridor and say to Charlotte, what on earth happened?
My throat's not feeling great, so I'm not gonna like. Oh, thank you. I will hydrate in a moment. I'm not going to roleplay the gasping of breath and the shock, but
yes.
And dead.
Wow. Ooh.
Not
the character. Andrew.
Wow, she has no chill. She is just like.
In between the gasping. She points at the unmoving body on the floor, and there is a door nearby. It's open, and you can see that the four-poster bed is covered in this beautifully quilted, like floral blanket, maybe. But there's enough accoutrement scattered around the room that it's a logical assumption that it's her room. And I was going to the water closet, just as down the hall past where your room is. The one in my room has been out of order for quite some time. Anyway, and I tripped and I stumbled, and she gestures at the unmoving body, which up close, it's Maximilian. Looking largely as he did at dinner, except now there's a bloody wound on his temple.
Oh.
You still can't see. You can't see the figure around the corner from where you are because of.
But the shadow's still there, is it?
The shadow's still there. They oddly haven't moved. They're just standing there.
Now I will cock my elephant, and then I'm gonna go peer around the corner.
Okay. Standing in the hallway, staring blankly at you, or you suspect the wall that was that you're standing in front of now, or your head is in front of now, is one of the staff. They appear to be fine. There's no like the clothes aren't in disarray. They're not injured, but they're the hand that's grasping the candlestick is covered in blood, as is the candlestick itself.
Oh.
But they, as I say, they are simply standing there, staring blankly at the wall. Their chest rises and falls slowly, so they're clearly breathing, but they're not moving other than that.
This sort of somewhat disarms my suspicion, so I lower my gun.
Yeah, they didn't even react to the elephant gun.
And I say, "Hello, are you okay?"
They kind of, let's say it's one of the maids. She looks at you, blinks slowly, like really slowly. Cocks her head slightly. Well, he was peeping.
What do you mean peeping?
I saw him crouching at the lady's keyhole.
What, Elizabeth?
Charlotte. Do you mean Charlotte?
Charlotte. Sorry, yes.
It's like, Elizabeth? I'll check my notes.
To be fair, there were only like 4 names for like men and 4 for women back in those days.
That's true. She nods. Yes, and it is improper.
But it's murder, my dear. Seems a bit extreme.
She looks blankly at you. But not if it's justice.
Well, that remains to be seen. Please put down the candlestick carefully.
She kind of crouches and lays the candlestick on the floor before standing.
And I call her in the corner. Charlotte, did you hear what this maid has just said?
She kind of looks around, noticing that no one's really paying her any attention anymore, and the tears stop. Yes, yes, I did, and I would never have guessed. He seems such a forthright and honest man at dinner.
Charlotte, can I ask you to go find or go wake up the proprietors? They are the ones who need to deal with the situation, not I.
She nods. I will summon them immediately, and she disappears into her room. And you've got a bell pull in your room for service, and you can hear her kind of pulling that.
Okay. Well, I still definitely keep an eye on this maid.
Yeah, she doesn't move. She's just kind of staring blankly at the wall.
Would I recognize this as like sort of signs of, I guess, like sort of PTSD sort of symptoms?
For mental health, it would be a psychology role. Yes, because psychoanalysis is to treat people.
Okay, well, let's find out, shall we?
Or medicine would give you, like, if there's anything wrong. Alas, you failed.
And yeah, I'll also just like sort of appraise her like physical health.
That's fine.
And also fail.
Yeah, I'm just checking the numbers in brackets. I mean, you can spend all of your luck if you want to lower it to be a success, but
no, that's okay.
Up to you. In that case, she appears to be visibly uninjured. You can't see any wounds on her, and she just appears to be in the closest analogy you can think of is a fugue state. She doesn't seem to have registered that what she's done is wrong, or even really that she's done anything at all beyond, catch her on peeping.
I ask her name.
Emily. So.
Emily, why didn't you sit down?
Okay, and she just sits in the middle of the corridor.
Oh dear.
Indeed, and then I'll just wait till like somebody else appears.
Okay. A couple of minutes later, somebody else does appear. It is a member of the senior staff who takes one look at it and then kind of turns around and goes back the way they've come, kind of calling over their shoulder that they're going to fetch Mr. Bell, who is the owner of the house.
I call back and perhaps have the police officer summoned.
Very well, sir. So, John, you are woken by the strident ring of your telephone.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to answer it.
Okay. Well, this is Archibald from the hall. We have need of your services, sir. There has been... And then, like, in a like a tone of voice that's clearly expecting some response. There has been a murder.
A murder?
There's been a murder.
I will obviously get dressed and go over as soon as I can.
Okay. So...
Do I need to log it with anyone? Is there, like, someone else in the police station?
No, you are the officer. It's not the kind of place that has a high crime rate, so...
I'll tell someone else I'm going there, though. I don't want it just to be, gone. Oh, where's the police officer? Don't know. He should be here.
You have a logbook that this kind of thing would be entered into.
Yeah, I'll log in the book. I'll log in the logbook.
Yeah, this is the kind of place that it's either a reward for years of good service, or a punishment for doing something truly terrible.
Let's say it's a reward.
Okay. Yeah. Are you staying with the maid, Andrew? After
yes.
Sebastian Bell does turn up. He's just like in his pajamas and dressing gown. Looks understandably concerned. What was your character's surname?
McCall.
Mr. McCall, I can only extend my sincerest apologies. I assure you, this sort of thing has never happened before at Hollow Point. Hopefully never will happen again.
It's certainly not quite what I expected when I booked my stay, but never mind.
Never mind.
Yeah, he looks a bit
very
concerned.
proper.
Your meal tomorrow will be complimentary.
Amazing. Thank you, Mr. Bell.
Mystery meat stew tomorrow.
He is clearly out of his depths and struggling to figure out what he can possibly do to fix this for you.
I mean, I would quite like to go back to bed, but I suppose John, whatever his name was, is on his way.
He is, in fact. And if you don't go back to your room, he arrives like 5 minutes later. For the entirety of that 5 minutes, Sebastian Bell is just kind of standing there wringing his hands, clearly no idea what to do. The maid doesn't move beyond blinking and breathing. She doesn't say anything. And Maximilian does not move at all.
I would hope so.
He is undead. So yeah, that is the scene that John sees upon arrival. There is a body in the hallway. Maximilian, being a middle-aged man with kind of balding steel grey hair, wearing his dressing gown and pajamas, wringing his hands awkwardly, anxiously. Alexander standing there with Andrew standing there with an elephant gun, and the maid just sitting calmly, placidly in the hallway.
Yeah, so there's a guy with a gun and a guy on the floor, dead.
You know that the gun didn't do it because there's still a body. An elephant gun kind of makes a mess of things.
Yes. First thing I'll say is I'll ask Andrew to put his gun away. Let's just put all weapons away.
Very well. And I return to my room and put it carefully in its case.
And I'll say to Sebastian that I don't want anyone leaving the house. If he can go make sure no one's left. Anyone else?
Yes, of course. I'll get this. I will alert the staff to check the guests are still in their rooms and that everyone's where they ought to be.
Yeah, make sure all the staff are here.
He nods and strides away, clearly relieved to have something to do that isn't just stand there and worry.
Yeah. I mean, you've described it already, so I'll just say I've asked people what happened, and they've sort of told me the story already.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah. I'm going to go up to the maid on the floor and just sort of ask her, "Oh, can you stand up for me?"
She blinks slowly and stands.
Okay, and then I'll ask her, "Did you do this?"
Yes, the young gentleman was peeping.
Right. And I'll say, "And why did you hit him with the candlestick instead of asking him to leave?"
She looks blankly at you as if that had never occurred to her. He was peeping. It is wrong.
Oh, okay. That's a bit crazy. Obviously, I'm not saying that to her face.
No,
but...
that's
I really wish I'd put all my points in brawl now, and instead I'd done something else. Sort of going to inspect her, make sure. You're saying it's like she's got blood on her hands and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Sort of want to make sure that it looks like she actually did it, if that makes sense.
I could go for a spot hidden, I think is the best thing there.
Okay.
There isn't really an investigation roll, so. Pass.
Hey.
Yeah, there are no visible wounds on her body that would explain where the blood's come from. And there is like a clean patch on the candlestick nearby that's, I guess at this point, slightly sticky. That would match where her hand would be, and there's a matching kind of blood pattern on the back of her hand. Other than that, as I described to Andrew, that's going to get confusing again.
You can call my character Andy if you want.
Okay, I mean it was Randy originally, so.
Yeah, or maybe just his nickname is Randy. There we go.
Randy, short for Randrew.
That's not what it's short for.
There are no other visible wounds. I mean, she has in this case literally been caught red-handed.
Yeah.
From the available, from the available visible evidence, anyway.
So, in my little book, I'm writing down that the neighbour Charlotte screamed. It was not the peeper or the peepee, the one that was getting peeped. She didn't scream. The killer, that's the one.
Yeah, he would have been the peeper. She would be the peepee.
Yeah, the peepee.
I was hoping no one would realise that.
Yeah. We
worry.
all realise that. Yeah.
I'd just like to take this moment to point out we are all adults here.
Yes.
Mostly in body.
And one of us is about to have a birthday, and the age will start with a 3 thereafter.
Oh yeah,
you're getting there 9
You'll
months
be
before
3
me.
years old.
Yes.
Oh.
300.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, me too. This time next month, I'll be 30.
Oh, God.
But my character's 27, so I'm still young.
My character's 65, and that's about how I feel.
Is what's it called? Mr. Sebastian Bell back from his walking around?
He can be if you want him to be.
Yes.
Okay,
I do.
Yes, he's striding with great purpose down the corridor. He's also taken the opportunity to actually get dressed, so he's wearing a suit again. His tie's a bit skew and he hasn't had time to properly style what remains of his hair, but he's at least made an effort to look presentable.
Okay, good. So I'm going to ask him if it seems like everyone else is here. Is anyone left?
He nods. All of the guests seem accounted for, and all of the staff are where they should be. Obviously, that doesn't mean that they were where they should have been when. And he kind of gestures to the corpse, question mark, because no one's actually examined the possible unconscious person yet, but...
I probably gave him a kick earlier. But...
Police brutality! Police brutality!
Desecration of the dead.
You don't know if he's dead.
That's true.
And I'll ask Mr. Bell if this maid is normally so black and white in her decisions.
Well, no. Emily's been with us quite some time. Usually she looks after the bathhouse, but we needed the extra staff this evening for the introductory meal, so we called her in, and she decided to stick around. She decided to stay on for a few more hours until the morning just to earn a little bit of extra money.
That's not all she decided to do.
He kind of goes pale. He is fastidiously ignoring Maximilian on the floor.
Okay, so yeah, let's check Maximilian then. I'll check him out.
Okay, that'll be a medicine check.
Medicine.
And it is medicine.
I will ask.
Not first aid.
I will ask Andrew to help me look at it because I have good first aid, but my medicine is 1.
Hang on.
You might get that one.
Yeah, I can. How can I go about assisting the police?
Just roll the medicine check.
Okay. Wait, mine's not vastly better.
Yeah, it's like 20% better.
If he wasn't dead before, he is now.
Yeah. I mean, he seems dead. He has an obvious taken an obvious blow to the head. There's a decent amount of blood. He's not moving.
Okay. I would. I'd prefer. Yeah, I'm obviously going to take her to the police station. She has committed the murder. And I'll ask everyone else to sort of leave this hall free. As in, can they move them to other rooms?
Sebastian kind of looks around at the doors and kind of nods. Yes, the only guests on this floor are, and he gestures to Andrew, Mr. McCall, and Miss Bridges, the Charlotte.
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Bridges, sorry.
Okay, yeah, I'll say to the people, I'm very sorry that obviously moving at this time of night is annoying, but we need to keep this clear for evidence.
As long as I can get some more shut-eye, I'll be happy.
Hopefully on the other floor, other room, you'll get your sleep.
Sebastian turns to Andrew. If you would follow, and he kind of pulls a small bell from his pocket and rings it, and it's quite loud for its size. And moments later, there's a member of the staff appears behind him. If you would follow Simon, he will take you to a temporary room.
Very well.
And I'll say to them that they can take a few things now, but I'll let them take the rest of it tomorrow. So just accept that's happening.
I take my clothes for the day so that I can get dressed when I wake up. Yeah.
That makes sense. As Andrew is led away, and as Mrs. Bridges is also led from her room, still in shock but less weepy, Sebastian does turn back to John. Would you like the doctor sending along in the morning to see what he can see. I would offer to send for him now, but unfortunately, he had rather a nightcap.
Ah, I see. Okay. I was about to say we should get him, but that makes sense. You know him better than I do. Yes, don't let anyone into this floor, and I'll be taking Emily to the station now to lock her up, but otherwise I'll be coming back. So just I'll be here in about half an hour. I'll be back.
Very good. We'll ensure that no one disturbs the corridor until you return.
I'm gonna sort of feel a bit. I'm feeling like in over my head. I just came here.
That's fair.
And now there's a murder, so I'm like, oh. So I'm gonna take Emily with me to the station. Is there like a little jail in there?
Yes, there is a 2-cell kind of jail area.
Yeah, and you said it was snowing, so I'll assume some blankets or some shit. But...
Yeah. Yes, you share the station with the Harbour Master's office. Harbour Master is not there right now, but
yeah,
it's kind of half of the building.
And then when we're there, I'll ask her, why did you do it? And is there anything else you want to tell me here that you couldn't tell me over
there? She looks blankly at you. But I've already said why. He was peeping. It is wrong.
Okay. Do you know that murder is wrong?
It is not murder if it's punishment.
And who told you that?
No one. He was in the wrong. So I punished him.
Okay. That sounds like a morning conversation. So I'm gonna just
I'm gonna leave this conversation.
Yeah, like straight up uncomfortable. I'll lock her in and just say, "Speak to you later," and then leave really awkwardly.
Okay.
I'll go back to the hall then.
Okay. When you get back there, Sebastian has used potted plants to block off the corridor.
Ah, lovely. I'm going to have a look in Emily's room.
Yeah, he can provide you directions, kind of like up the back stairs in the attic. Oh wait, no, she doesn't have a room here. Sorry.
She's a maid.
Yes.
Where was she staying? Where was?
If you are asking him, he tells you that she lived outside the village walls in the new builds. She was only here for the evening, or for the night shift.
Yeah, where would someone sort of hang out in the night shift? So this room that he was killed outside of the game, is obviously their changing room or something, or is it another guest's room?
It's another guest's room.
Right, I'm gonna have a look at that room.
Okay. Yeah, it is the room of like a upper middle-aged wealthy woman of the 1920s. There's nothing kind of out of the ordinary. It's just all high-quality clothing kind of lying around, cosmetics, yesterday's newspaper, some tobacco, and I can't remember the name of the thing. Like the cigarette holder. Shroud?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe? I don't know.
Like Cruella de Vil had.
Yeah, like that.
Okay, yeah. I'm just sort of looking to see if there's anything out of normal, like has something apart from obviously anything they might have taken with them when I let them go, like an idiot before checking.
For out of the ordinary, I'd like a spot hidden check, please.
Yep.
You can't see anything that strikes you as out of the ordinary after a reasonably comprehensive search of the room.
Okay, then I'll just, if he's still around, I'll ask Sebastian Bell for her address.
He provides it.
And I'll go check out her place.
Okay. The snow is falling rather thickly, and you kind of tramp your way through it, through the gate. That's the word.
Yeah.
To her, it's one of like these 3 buildings here somewhere.
Right. Okay. Cool. Any lights on in the windows or anything?
Nope. The windows are shuttered though, so you don't know if that's just because you can't see the light through them, or because it's at this point like 4 a.m.
Okay, whichever house is hers, I'm going to knock on the door.
There is no response.
Okay, I'm going to go round the back and see if there's like a back door garden.
There is. It's a small kind of like grassy area that someone started to build a raised flower bed in. You can't see any lights on at the back of the house either.
Okay, I'm going to go into the garden. I'm not going to be like sneaky, because in my head, I'm allowed to be there.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm going to be in the garden, and I'm going to try the back door.
The back door's unlocked.
You say it's unlocked?
It's unlocked, yes. It opens into a small kitchen. The fire in the cast iron range has gone out, or hasn't been lit, let's say, for specificity.
As I go in, I'm going to knock loudly and be like, "Police!"
Okay, there is no response.
Okay.
There is also only one chair at the table in this small kitchen, so...
That's depressing. I'm going to write that in my notebook. Sad. No. Is there a light? Like a little light I can put on?
Not in this house, but there is a candle on a candle holder. There's also a couple of... there's an oil lamp on the table and as well, if you'd rather have...
Okay, I'll turn on an oil lamp and have a...
Okay. Yeah, you raise the wick and you light you ignite it.
Yeah, I'm going to have a look in her room or bedroom or front room or whatever's in...
Yeah, it's the house of someone who probably spends most of their time at work just to make ends meet. I mean, this is the 20s, like, wealth inequality was horrendous.
Hey, what, do you mean the 2020s?
Yeah,
oh,
I do.
Yeah.
Hey! We're still bad.
Biting satire.
There's a beaten wooden chair in front of a grate that is lit. There is a fire laid in it, but it's not lit. And next to the chair, there's just like darning equipment for repairing clothes, basically.
Okay.
And if you go up the cramped stairs to the tiny bedroom, it's pretty much the same thing here.
Fair enough. Is there any sort of books or anything by the bed?
There is a what would the word be?
Book?
Yes, there is a book. It's trouble in not having a web browser open. It's like a primer for a finishing school.
Okay.
Like how to comport oneself properly, that kind of thing.
Okay, I'll probably pocket that. I'm thinking in my head I'll show it to one of those nerds on the bus with me earlier.
Okay.
But I'm just trying to see if
and somebody else
something...
has raised a good point. There is a Bible. It is.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think. Like, is there something that might have told her to kill? Basically, I'm trying to find the reason.
There is. If you open a chest of drawers, there is a Bible.
Is it standard St. James Greek translation, or is it just from like John Smith or something?
Dude, like I know you know that Bible is actually called because we were on the course together.
Yeah, but you might have learnt it on the course, but the things I've forgotten about the course.
I already owned a King James Bible, but it is King James.
Before it was cool, I owned a Bible, so.
Well, Why have such judgmentalness?
I had a Bible app before it was cool. So
has it ever been cool?
I mean, it is fun because then you look up stuff like the emissions of Donkey quote constantly, and everyone's like, "Oh, stop telling us that," and you're like, "No, this is my life now." So I just read what Unstable just said. That's quite funny. Sorry.
It's just this normal Bible. Close the Bible, put it back, and walk away.
Well, no, I open it and then I murder someone. That's how it works. But yeah, so there's nothing like a letter from some weird
the emote comes through as well in
that's
Foundry.
cool.
That's really good.
Oh yeah.
I
wonder if it supports custom emotes.
Can we get Ryan's? Can we get your face as an emote?
I mean, I have 3 emote slots, 4 emote slots. Technically, I could do that.
Do it.
Or I could keep my troll and my
the one from your shower scene.
What?
Did you not see that? Oh, so I have a channel point redemption to remind me to hydrate, and one of my regulars, Bloodrain 2119, redeemed like 100 of them in one go, and obviously I'm not going to sit there on stream and take 100 mouthfuls of my drink because I'd need to refill it like 10 times. So I got in the shower fully dressed and recorded turning it on.
That's very funny. That's great.
Anyway, yes, there is a Bible. It is a King James V edition. It's well read. It's not a fancy one, but it is there if you were looking for a Bible. There's nothing untoward about it at first glance, though. Just seems like a well-read Bible.
I'll take it with my other book to show the book boys, and if I can't see anything else, I'll leave for now. I'm gonna come back in the daylight.
Yep, when you're not relying on the smoky yellow light of an oil lamp.
Yeah, exactly.
The voice of someone who's had to eat by oil lamp before.
Yeah.
It's better than candle.
Less good than electricity?
Yes. It's slightly more difficult.
I'll take your word for it. But yeah, so I'm just going to take the books. There's no such thing as fingerprints at this point, is there? So screw that. And go back.
Okay.
To my house.
I can answer that question. There is such thing as fingerprints.
There is. I was going to say there definitely was by the 20s.
Fingerprints was 1890 something, I think. I had to look this up for another Call of Cthulhu game.
Really? Were they being used by the police at this point?
Yeah, it was, I think, 1890s or early 1900s fingerprinting started being an accepted forensic technique.
Whoops. Oh well. Not on Harlow's point.
Yeah, I mean, you may have you wouldn't be trained. You'd have to call someone in to do it.
Now I think I know why he was sent to Harlow's Point.
Whoa. Let's not jump ahead too much.
I forgot to turn off the shoes for trolls alert timer. Whoops. Ignore that one. That's a Witcher 3 thing.
Sure it is, man. Well, anyway, so I'll go back to I'll leave a note at the hall, perhaps, saying when the doctor arrives, call me, or when the doctor's on his way, and then I'll go back to bed if I can get some sleep after writing up what's happened.
Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. I was trying to get the exact date so that we'd know, but I can't be bothered right now. So obviously, Alexander sleeps through all of this, none the wiser. I will keep the chat up. I'll copy the that link onto a notepad document. Or I would if this wanted to play ball. It does not. Never mind. It's saved in Foundry anyway because of the being sent across. That's fine. Yes, Alexander sleeps through the night, blissfully unaware that any of this has happened, and is woken shortly after dawn by a loud thud outside.
Oh, is it a banging on the door, or is it outside the room? Like, is it further outside?
Definitely like the front of house area. It's not a banging. It is just one single loud thud, as if something has fallen into snow.
Okay, I would jump up. I'd reach underneath my pillow for my revolver, and realize I haven't kept it there because I'm on holiday and the war finished a few years ago.
That's fair.
So I no longer had my revolver under my pillow. But I would get up quickly, throw on whatever quick clothes available, and just walk over maybe to the window, just see if I can see anything outside.
Yep, in the like shortly after dawn light, so it's quite bright. I'll stop the snow. It has stopped snowing for the moment, at least.
Okay.
I think I can just delete the effect. Yeah. The sun is quite bright, but because you're so close to the wall, there's a lot of shade. But it looks like there's a vaguely person-shaped hole in the snowdrift at the base of the wall opposite where your guest lodging is.
Oh shit! I'll throw on a pair of boots just very quickly. I've probably not even got socks on. Just throw shoes on and run outside into the snow to the person space thing and see if I can help them or do anything.
There is indeed a person there. They you recognize them from the dinner before. They're one of your guests.
Oh God.
They're not dead. They are getting up.
Oh, good. Okay.
I never named them, alas. They are getting up, but they are. I believe the phrase at the time would be in a state of undress. It's one of the male guests, so there's nothing too scandalous.
Okay.
But he's wearing what you would assume to be a bathing suit.
Oh goodness. Okay.
He also appears to have broken his leg because as he stands up and tries to put weight on it, he kind of it buckles and collapses underneath him.
Oh my goodness!
He does not cry out in pain though.
As he falls, I would sort of jolt down to try and stop him from falling, and I'd lift him up out of the snow. If he's in a state of undress, I'd grab him under the arms, lift him up. But I would be looking at his face if I've noticed. If he didn't scream or anything, I'd be a bit worried. So I'd look at his face, see if he seemed okay.
Okay. Can I have? Don't worry if you fail it, but can I have a sanity check, please?
Oh my goodness. Sanity, is that? Oh, that's down the side. Okay.
Yeah, you should be able to just click the word sanity.
Yeah.
The fact that this uses Comic Sans still really upsets me.
Wait.
That's a crit. That's nice.
That's a
wow,
good
you got a 1.
Yeah,
I rolled 100.
No, you rolled
1. A 1. Oh, is that better or worse?
That's so much better.
Wait. 1 is the best roll. 100 is the best worst roll.
Great. Sorry, I didn't know if it was 1 or 100 because it was 1 and a 0.
No,
it could have been either.
It's 001.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm as sane as you can possibly be.
Yes. It was only going to be a failure. It was only going to be a loss of 1 point anyway. But as you reach out to help this gentleman up, let's say that at dinner he introduced himself as Timothy Aberforth. I'm going to make a note of that name.
Because we will be reminding you of it.
Yes, exactly.
Timothy, no.
New journal entry. Guests.
Timothy.
Yes, as you reach out to help him up, you realize that his skin is cold, but like when I say cold, it's like touching ice cold.
Right, stay cold. You say.
Is like no one should ever feel this cold. But apart from that, he seems okay. He kind of looks at you, blinking slowly.
Don't tell me how to feel.
I'm gonna go. Come inside. Come inside. I mean, we are literally right outside my front door here, aren't we?
Yes, of course. Yes, you are.
So, yeah, I'm gonna sort of grab him, try and move him inside. See, does he walk? I mean, if I've got him up,
he kind of limps. It's definitely got a broken leg, and you know it's broken because as he limps and he puts that leg down, there's a. What's your profession? Librarian, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely disquieting. In fact, can I have another sanity check, please? As the bone pierces the skin and it's just a spray of blood on the stone.
Don't worry, I'll roll another one.
As a librarian, he should be like well used to broken bones.
That's still a pass.
From the librarian fight clubs, you know.
However, you do lose 1 point of sanity for seeing that.
Oh no. Okay.
Like, yeah, you probably saw worse in the war, but it's been some time. And this is not something that anyone really ever gets used to.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna. I might try and lift him slightly and then get him in and put him on the closest chair to the door.
Yeah, that's fine. He kind of absently notices it and does try to cover the wound with his hands. You know, like to stop the bleeding kind of thing, but
so he has noticed that it's bleeding.
He's noticed it's bleeding, but he didn't make any sound of distress.
Yeah, okay, sure. Maru, is there like a fire in Maru?
Yes, there is. There would be a fire.
Is that how it would be heated?
Yes.
I'd have probably left it on overnight. Would it have burnt out? Am I gonna have to try and restoke? I'm going to restoke the fire. I'm gonna get the fire going because if Mr. Aberforth is as cold as he is, that's the first thing I do. I need to get him warmed up.
That's fair.
I'm gonna grab a robe, throw it around his shoulders, and start heating up the fire. Maybe the reason he's not responding to anything is because he's in shock, hypothermic shock.
That's totally fair. The fire would probably still be smouldering slightly, especially if you put coke on it. Pre-burnt.
Yeah,
coals.
I did a few lines before bed, so put the rest on there. Oh, you mean that coke? Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And also dead. Yeah, you can put the robe around him easily enough. The fire takes a few minutes before it's outputting enough heat that it noticeably takes the chill out of the air.
Okay.
He's still, holding the wound in his leg.
I'm gonna. I've sat him as close to the fire as possible. I'm gonna talk to him. Just maybe slap his face a little bit if he's still not responsive. See if I can get anything out of him at all.
He does look at you when you slap him. Kind of bent over, hands wrapped around his leg. Mm-hmm. You shouldn't do that. It's not right.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get some response out of you. Are you okay? How did you break your leg? Why are you undressed?
I was simply in the bathhouse, and I wondered what it would be like to stand on top of the wall and step off. So I did.
Down.
As he says that, is he completely straight-faced?
Yeah, completely.
It's not like he's taking the piss. Okay.
You can attempt a psychology roll if you want to figure out if he's lying or not.
It's not that. It's more if he's taking the piss or not, joking, not lying. I don't think you'd lie about something like that You know, like
No, his voice is. I'm trying to get that across, but his voice is completely level.
it's completely level.
There's no hint of a smile or anything.
Okay, I'm just gonna look at him. Yes, sure. Again, I mean, I know this was asked later. We'll go about the maid. Would this come across as any sort of PTSD sort of thing? Again, obviously coming back from the war.
Yeah.
It could be reminiscent of something I've seen before in people.
Yeah, if you want to make a psychology check for that as well.
Wrong one.
To see if he is suffering from shell shock. Wow.
I am rolling well.
You are. That's another critical success.
He's so sane. It's just.
Sorry, it's an extreme success. You are like 99% sure that this man is not suffering from shell shock or any mental affliction that you are aware of.
Okay.
He appears to be simply someone who is curious about what it would be like, and then did it.
Yeah. Mr. Aberforth, where are you staying?
Oh, I was. And he gives you an address that presumably is somewhere in the village. But I.
Oh, so is he one of the guests? Is he one of the?
He's the guest.
He's a guest. Okay, but he's not in the big house with everyone else.
No,
right?
no.
All right. I'm gonna say, if you want to stay here, not that you're probably getting far on that broken leg of yours, I will.
Yes, I probably should see a doctor about this, shouldn't I?
I will go get a doctor for you.
Oh, that's very, very good of you.
If you don't mind, I'll turn you to face the fire. I'll turn his chair towards the fire, so he's face on with the fire, and that also means I can sort of get dressed behind him without him looking at me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can go upstairs to your bedroom and get dressed properly, like.
Oh, sorry. This is a full.
Yeah,
so I was thinking more like motel. Just the front door went straight into the bedroom where I was. Okay.
Because of the way.
Yeah.
That it's all set. You have like a full house to stay in.
Okay. And then before leaving the room, I will close the door, maybe lock it from the inside, just to slow. I mean, he'll obviously be able to get out if he wants to, but just to slow down and escape. Because obviously, I've realised there's something up with him. I will get dressed. I'm gonna say to him, look, I'm going to lock the door on my way out, just so just to make sure no one else comes in. You're obviously not in it. You can't really move. Just stay where you are. Stay warm, please. Make yourself at home.
Please.
I go to leave the door, and as I do, I turn back and go, would you like a cup of tea?
That would be rather gracious of you, sir. Thank you.
I make a cup of tea as quickly as I can. I give it to him, and then I go outside and I lock the door on my way out. I've got to be, I've got to be a good host even in these circumstances. But also, I'm thinking that maybe it'll keep him there a little longer if he is trying to escape.
That's fair.
There's just something about him. But if I give him a cup of tea, he'll probably spend 5 or 10 minutes drinking it before he decides to try and leave. And I was shown yesterday where the doctor's wasn't I?
Yes.
On the
It is this building over here.
I'm going to make my way very quickly, keeping my eye out for either the dear police officer who we met yesterday on our way into town, or any of the staff who I recognised from the night before on my way over there.
Okay. As it would happen, Sebastian Bell, proprietor of Hollow Hall and owner of the Hollows Point Holiday Village, is in fact waiting at the door to Dr. Campbell's surgery, whichever.
He's there as well. Okay.
He's there waiting. He's clear. He's kind of looking at a watch as if he's in a hurry.
Okay. I'm going to turn up and go, Mr. What was his last name? Sorry, Bell.
Bell, yes.
Bell. Mr. Bell, so good to see you. Is Dr. Campbell in?
Yes, but hopefully not for much longer. His services are needed at the hall.
I'm sorry. Do you have an emergency?
Quick question.
Oh,
what would John have done with the body?
Probably left it.
Okay. In which case, yes, he says that the doctor's services are needed at the hall.
Yeah.
Oh, is it an emergency? Is someone unwell?
No. I can say without a shadow of a doubt the answer to that question is no.
Oh, well, fantastic, because there is an emergency. I'm here for an emergency as well, and someone is actually wounded, so I may need to take the doctor's time before yours, if there's no one unwell on your side of things.
Someone is wounded. Pray tell, what happened?
Oh, it's a broken leg. I assume a slip in the snow outside my accommodations, but I rushed here as soon as I realised there was a problem.
He is visibly relieved. I'm glad to hear it. Yes, the doctor, of course, should attend to that first. The other matter can wait. I will.
I can send him up your way as soon as he's done.
Yes, I will inform Officer Rulse that the doctor will be delayed, and he kind of turns and walks towards the end of the street.
Maybe you could actually send the officer down to my accommodations. I just have a couple of questions to ask him, not regarding this. Just if I could have a word with him, then he could assist the doctor through this snow up to your great house.
He looks confused, but nods over his shoulder. So, a couple of minutes later, Sebastian walks into the police station. I assume that's where John is, anyway. Well, he assumes that's where John is.
Well, yes, until the doctor gets to the hall. Then I asked them to ring me then.
Yes, of course. So he walks into the police station. Regrettably, there has been an accident by the wall, but one of the gentlemen that you came in last night with, he has requested your presence with the accident and the doctors as well, so perhaps you could walk to the hall together afterwards.
Yes. God, okay. I'll just write it right in the book where I'm going, and I look over is Emily still alive?
Yes, she's still alive.
That's good enough.
She's kind of just sitting where you left her last night.
So she's fine.
She was sleeping when you came in, but she was just sleeping sitting up. She was like a doll whose strings, like a marionette whose strings have been cut.
Aww.
Did she eat porridge if I gave her some?
Yeah, if you provided her food and like water, she would eat and drink.
I absolutely didn't leave the bowl in. That would be bad. So
that's fair.
When she's done, the food is taken. I'm going to go, but I'm going to take the books with me that I wanted someone to check over. Because I remembered one of them was a librarian. But
okay.
I mean, I actually know which in real life, but obviously in the game, I don't know. I just remember one of them was a librarian. Blah blah blah. Books. I heard it in my head. So
that's fair.
So let's go see Totally Not a Zombie.
Yep. As you walk towards the doctors, where Sebastian has indicated that the person is waiting for you, the librarian is in fact waiting for you outside the doctor's practice.
God,
officer.
it's sunny.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's officer, thank you. Has the doctor came out yet?
Yes,
been waiting
he
for some
came out a
time.
couple of minutes after Sebastian left,
Good for him.
kind of looked expectantly at you as if like I wasn't expecting you, but didn't. Has just kind of resigned himself to a polite clearing of the throat more than anything else.
I would have explained to the doctor right away. Actually, his point. I said I'd have taken the doctor back to my place and said to send the officer to where I was staying. So we'd be on our way back to my home.
So John, kind of at the end of the street, you've been given the address, to go, but you can see, you recognise the kind of slightly hunched over figure of the doctor from your interactions the previous evening.
Yeah.
As he kind of makes his way along the street. So it's up to you if you want to hurry to catch up with them or just, where you're going anyway, so.
Yeah, I see that where they're going, so I'll if I'm ahead of them, I'll just wait at the house, but if not...
They're ahead of you.
Oh, right, then I just walk the same way, because I know where they're going. So.
Okay. So a couple of minutes after you get back to your house, Alexander, John will appear at the door.
I'm going to leave the doctor, maybe, I don't know, splinting up.
Yeah, it's essentially all he's doing.
Timothy Aberforth's leg. I'm going to stand outside I'm just going to say to the officer, look, I know I'm as new here as you are, so you may not know any more than me, but the gentleman here, he seems to believe it could have been fun to jump off a building and see how it felt. I've seen people under mental distress before. This is not what he is. He seems fine. I'm just wondering whether there could be some gas leak nearby. I'm not sure. There definitely seems to be something odd going on with this gentleman.
Alexander, I won't lie to you. Something's weird in this town. Just straight up. Something happened in the hall last night. I can't tell you too much, but I've got 2 books here. You're a librarian.
I was told someone in the hall is definitely not injured or unwell. Is that what happened in the hall last night?
Well, news travels fast. So, yes.
Wait, so that means everyone's okay?
No. Sadly, someone is definitely not okay, but there is someone else who's acting very odd, and I want you to have a look at these books and see if there's something that might have made someone be odd, if that makes sense. Just see if there's anything out of the way. I'm not much of a reader. No offense, books
no, of course. As soon as he says books, my eyes visibly sparkle. I'll take the books and just have a quick look.
I'm gonna ask him as well. You say he's acting odd. Would you describe it as sort of monotone? I did it because I did it. There's no real reason.
Exactly that. You seem to know more than you're letting on.
I'm going to look at him and just go, no, it's a very similar situation that happened last night for me. Something's happening here. This Wilberforth? No, Timothy Alberforth, is it?
Aberforth. Do you want me to type it in the chat?
No, let's just keep getting it wrong.
Okay, that's fine.
I quite like it in these games. You get characters' names wrong, because the DM has to decide then and there: do they accept it, or does the character get annoyed? I find that funny. But
I'm gonna take the books out of your hands, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do I see when I look at the books? books.
You see a well-read copy of the King James Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, it's a primer for the proper comportment of young ladies.
I take the Bible first. I go, a 220 and a 378.
I look at him like, sure, whatever, man. I don't know.
Well, you don't know your Dewey Decimal? A 220 are Bibles and a 378 is a adult education. I did check that when you said the names of the books earlier. In character, I wouldn't know that. And I will just have a quick flick through. Do they seem normal? Are there any notes in the pages that I can make out, or is there anything?
Either a spot
highlighted
hidden.
bits.
Give me a spot hidden or a library use check, whichever you prefer.
I have 70 in both, so
it's your choice then.
I'm a librarian. Let's do this.
I was going to say, when else are you going to use?
Yeah, when else am I going to use it? Yes.
Okay. The only kind of there's no marginalia notes in the margin. There's no like bookmarks or anything, but the pages in the comportment book about the proper way to bathe do seem to be more red than others. Like they're more dog-eared.
Gross.
Sorry,
I meant gross that such a book existed, not like you're gross for reading it.
Gross that people bathed, or
personal hygiene. No,
officer. I'm gonna close. I've been maybe holding the door open slightly. I'm gonna close it completely now and go. Mr. Aberforth was in the bathhouse. This book seems to be. The person reading this has been very focused on bathing. What? The person who had this, who are they?
I'm gonna sort of look at him, sort of think, the sort of like judging in my head whether I should be telling him this information, and then I just think, screw it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say to him, yes. So let me be blunt. There was a murder last night in the hall. And the person who did it, this book belongs to them.
Did they have something to? Are they from the bathhouse? Did they work in the bathhouse? Do they live in the bathhouse? Have they been there?
They were an employee of the hall, and I think they are usually in the bathhouse.
There may be a gas leak in the bathhouse that is causing people to act strangely. Would a gas leak be a thing? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, if there's gas lights, then yeah.
Yeah.
They did say that they had a new way of heating the baths. Just last night, a new method.
Shit.
It could be a new type of gas. Maybe they don't realize there are problems. I've read books on gases or even types of metals. I've read books on leaks, both the vegetable and the phenomenon of something leaving the vessel it's meant to be withheld.
This is a leak. I once ate a leek, so I recognise them well. Okay. Well, I'll need to go in and check on this guy. I know you're on a holiday, but would you be willing later, after I've been to the hall, to come with me? Perhaps to the hall or to this bathhouse?
What am I going to do?
On a purely professional visit to the bathhouse.
Oh, God.
Oh, well, in that case, no.
I was going to say after hours.
You do know that breakfast is available at the hall.
I'm gonna just give me one moment. I'll turn back into the house. How's the doctor doing with the patient?
He has splintered them up, and is like applying a dressing to the actual open fracture. He looks a bit concerned.
Can I say to Timothy, I'm a policeman, Timothy, you have to tell me the truth, yes?
Yes.
I'm like sort of talking to him like a child, and then I say, did you do this to yourself, or did someone do it to you?
I wondered what it would be like to step off of the wall. So I did.
And how was it?
Exhilarating.
I see. And do you need to tell anyone about this in particular?
No.
Okay.
I would recommend it.
You would?
It was rather enjoyable up until the point I landed and broke my leg.
Yeah, see, to me that seems to be the whole thing. But when you say up to, that's like the main issue. Anyway, and I'll turn to the doctor and I'll just ask, has this happened recently with anyone else? Because I need to speak to you about this happening last night.
He looks at you and just shakes his head. No, this is a very quiet village.
Well, last night it was extremely loud, so...
I fear I slept through it. I'm sorry.
I'll sort of nod at him and just say, right, I think it's best if we go. If when you finish looking over Timothy, I need you in the hall to check over a dead body.
His eyes go wide. Clearly, Sebastian hadn't got around to telling him that point. Of course, yes.
And so do mine as well at this point. There was a dead body at it.
Well, you were told there was a murder.
Yeah, I was going to say, I look kind of surprised at.
Sorry.
Alexander.
Yes, no, sorry, I was told. Yeah, sorry.
Alexander, we call him Goldfish. Why?
It's not that I don't remember stuff; it's that I forget what I'm not meant to remember.
No,
you said there was when you said there was a murder earlier, it didn't surprise me because out of character, I knew there'd been a murder. Yeah,
like Sherlock Holmes. I like that.
Yeah,
that's fair. No, I get what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of stands up and offers his shoulder to Timothy. Well, I'll just get this gentleman down to the surgery, to the practice, and well. It looks kind of like this is going to take a long time. I'll meet you at the hall as soon as I can.
I'm gonna say to the doctor, like, Timothy's injured, but you need to get into the hall your priority.
He pulls himself up with professional pride. I will do what I can.
Okay, I'm going to perhaps go back to the police station. I might ask Alexander to come with me. But...
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go. On the way over, I'm going to say, look, everything strange just seems to start happening last night. Well, yesterday evening, I turned up and you turned up, but and we both seem like good sorts. What's happened to our other fellow?
Well, he was there last night, but there was no way he could have done it. It was pretty a close cut case. Yeah. But just come with me to speak to this young lady a second. I just need to see if it's the same as Timothy in your eyes.
Yeah.
And then
obviously follow the officer This is more interesting than anything else that was going to happen in this quiet little holiday town.
Okay.
I'll sort of ask Emily the same questions I have. I assume she'll give the same answers, and
yes, she is equally as subdued.
And then I'll turn to Alexander and say, "Is this what Timothy was like when you found him?" From what I saw, he was like this, but
I guess. Do I just see the same thing that I saw in Timothy?
Her body language is completely neutral. There's very little emotion in her voice. She'll answer any question honestly, as far as you can tell, but doesn't really provide anything other than that.
I'm going to say, do you know Timothy Aberforth?
She cocks her head and thinks for a second. No, I do not believe so.
Yeah, I'm just gonna nod, and the way she's been answering an interrogation is what we're not gonna do much. So, but if she's happy to say she doesn't know him, then yeah, I'm not gonna dig any further into it.
Okay, I will suggest that we go back to the hall. I need to obviously do some policing, and I wouldn't mind having an extra set of eyes there.
Great. Yep, gonna go with you.
If this was like an old western, I'd be like, "Come on, deputy! I've made you a deputy."
Okay.
At which point, I knock my coat back a bit, and I do have an old-fashioned revolver on my waist. Like I actually do. So I'm gonna hold that. I'm very happy to be deputized. Is there any sort of cowboy hat lying around the station? A star badge? No, darn it. I'll just stick
before we
just
go,
my spurs. But yeah.
We ask Emily about why was she so interested in this book on bathing, or sorry, the bathing section of the book. I can't remember. I'm not a librarian. Why would I remember?
Well, it is. I felt that as I was working at the bathhouse, I may as well know how to use one properly, correctly.
And
even.
Does someone of this description describe Timothy? Has he been to the bathhouse recently?
She looks at you, like mild confusion. On
Only
her face.
mild?
Only mild. Like this is the strongest emotion you've seen from her since you've met her. This is Harlow's point. Everyone uses the bathhouse.
And what's the bathhouse like? If I wanted to use it, is it good?
It has won awards. It is what you would expect from a bathhouse. There's several rooms in which you can prepare yourself for the bath. There's the hot bath, there's the cold bath. Several rooms for use after the bath.
And do you live here with your family in Harlow's Point?
No, I live alone.
And if someone accidentally left your door open when they left the house... No, okay, so the most she's bloody talked is about this bathhouse. That's weird.
No, you did ask about it, so...
I know, but I'm just thinking that the most emotion she's shown is about the bathhouse, so... Something's up. Something's up in the bathhouse, that's for sure. Okay.
Officer, I'll wait until we're leaving. We're away from her.
Yeah.
But I am going to say, officer, she's just said that the entire town uses the bathhouse. Maybe we should probably head over quicker, sooner rather than later, to stop people going in. However, I understand there is something we need to get from the main house first.
And speaking of the main house, at breakfast, I assume that Alexander goes down for breakfast. Andrew goes down for breakfast.
Yes, he when he first wakes, he thinks maybe it was all just a bit of a strange dream or a nightmare. But then quickly realizes it wasn't. So yes, he gets up, he splashes his face, gets dressed, and heads down to breakfast.
Okay. There are a couple of other guests staying at the hall as well as Mrs. Bridges and yourself. And they're kind of like, they have no idea what happened in the night beyond the fact that they were woken up to see if they're still in their rooms, and they are kind of just sitting alone or in pairs at the table. Mrs. Bridges, however, is wearing a the word has gone. Let's say ostentatious kind of dress and hat, and she has a large leather bag, slightly larger than a handbag, but smaller than like a duffel bag. On the floor beside her, she kind of looks up as you enter. What a dreadful racket that was last night. I could barely sleep a wink afterwards.
Indeed, madam. Yes, I too was awoken. And yes, I also struggled to sleep after. Something to do with the murder and all.
Yes, thank you so much for coming to my aid so swiftly. That dreadful maid.
Yes.
God only knows what she might have done if you hadn't arrived.
Very, very strange. She was acting that girl too. Very strange.
Oh, she's one of the new staff. I like the old staff. They know how to treat me well.
Yes, well, just try to forget it, madam.
Oh, well, I will try, but I've discovered in my many years here that the bathhouse is a good cure for stress and worry. Would you care to join me, sir?
Mayhaps indeed, but I wish yet to break my fast and read the paper and take my time doing so.
Of course, I shall await your. Oh God, what is the word? I shall await your convenience.
Very well. And he sort of bows and heads off to sit down and decide what he wants and get a nice hot cup of tea and.
Yeah, there's a wide variety of breakfast foods for this kind of establishment, and hot drinks. And you can see when John and Alexander enter because of where all the doors are and whatnot. Also, just for narrative convenience more than anything. Basically, the dining room's just opposite the entrance hall and the doors are open.
Andrew's had a good breakfast and he's quite happily reading the paper, but he glances up when he notices the movement of people entering the room out of the corner of his eye. And upon seeing it, Officer Rolls and his other bus-bound acquaintance, he sort of waves.
I just made it. We've been friends for years. I just remembered.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
our
yes.
backstories. Yes, we have been friends for years. So I forgot about 10 minutes ago.
I forgot. Sorry, mate. I
Same.
forgot we've been friends for years. Sorry.
That's what happens when there's like 3 months between session 0 and
Yeah.
session 2.
I shall amend my statement. I look up and I see Officer Rolls and my good friend Alexander. So I wave at Alexander.
As you are a good friend, I walk over to you quite quickly. Just go, there's something strange going on, and I pick up a sausage from your plate and just eat it very voraciously as I'm stood above you.
Yes.
The way you said that, it sounds like this correlation between what you said and a sausage. It's like, where's this going?
Yeah, I didn't sign up for that kind of roleplay session.
Does it indeed have anything to do with last night's murder? these strange goings on.
I wasn't even sure there was a murder to someone. Wait, is there anyone very close in our vicinity, or are we on a separate table? Are we?
Oh, I definitely made sure to sit away from everybody.
Well, someone jumped off the wall next to my accommodations, and it does seem to have something to do with whatever happened. And I sort of nod towards the stairs, going. I've been told it was upstairs, so I nod towards the stairs, and go. Our officer friend here is investigating, but as both I and you were close to the scenes, I think he wants us to maybe give him a little hand. He also seemed to not be very good at this. I think he needs a little bit of a push in the right direction.
He doesn't even know fingerprints exist.
I'm starting to wonder whether he's actually a police officer at all.
That's fair. I'll give you that. That's fair.
Andrew sort of does a sensible chuckle and and puts his paper down, also folds his paper up, I should say, and gets up and says, right, well, yes, indeed, investigating the strange goings on seems more interesting than going to the bathhouse, so let's...
Well,
that's
you can do both!
Going there.
Oh, well. 2 birds with 1 stone, my dear Alexander.
I turn back towards the officer. See, he's in charge. We're just there for what seems to be emotional and intellectual support at this point.
Yeah, I'll sit down at the table with both of you, and I'll say, I think something weird's happening in this town. You two, we all came on last night. Right now, you two are pretty much the only ones I trust. So don't mess that up. But Alexander will tell you there's 2 people in one night who are now acting cuckoo bananas. So.
Oh, somebody else like like Emily, the maid girl.
Yes, exactly. The guy who hurt his foot did it on purpose for no reason, and he's very calm about the amount of pain he did. It's not normal. I don't like it. There's something to do with the bathhouse.
Well, didn't they keep advertising that there was some miraculous new treatment at the bathhouse or something?
Exactly. So I think we should investigate it. I'm wondering if you two are willing to help.
Well, seems like the most interesting thing to do.
I mean, I could just sit here and read this old King James Bible, but I guess if you need me. No, I am acting very reluctant, but I am slightly more engaged with the situation than I'm putting on.
Okay. One thing every DM loves, I will suggest, let's split the party. Can you two investigate the bathhouse for me as customers, which you probably were already going to do, and I have to wait here for the doctor to see about this body, because that is actually my job. Maybe I wouldn't laugh like that in the game, like I did in real life, because that would absolutely scare the shit out of everyone else.
I'm going to wait here for the doctor to talk about a body. Ha 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 ha.
That's my job. Shifty eye. Look over, and I'm literally in like a police stripper sort of.
Clearly bought the costume like 5 minutes ago.
I turn around and you realise there's assless chaps. You know. It's like
God.
Maybe not.
I thought that's what we were all wearing. Oh no. Okay.
It's my librarian's outfit with assless chaps.
I mean, those stupid, sexy librarians.
It's true.
What's the Dewey Decimal System for sex books? Don't look it up.
Wouldn't that be
That'll
adult
be a
education?
Oh, depends. Anyway, moving swiftly on.
There's a couple,
A for
but yeah. No, I only started talking because I was googling. It's either 306 or 613. One's a behaviour thing. It's probably psychology. The other one is the joy of sex, getting it on.
That sounds like someone who's never enjoyed sex. Getting it on.
I look at the officer. I look at my good friend sat next to me. We could go to the
bathhouse. You've known for years. He's sitting next to you.
My good friend Andrew.
Oh, of course, yes. Of course.
And I go, honestly, it's only because I looked at the names down the side, and because there's two Andrews on there, but there's Andrew player and there's Andrew character. I got mixed up for half a second.
I know Andrew, and I keep doing that.
Yeah.
I am Andrew, and I keep hearing it. I'm like, what?
Wait,
I didn't say that.
Which Andrew are you, the player or the character?
Oh, are you a real boy or not?
Well, that's too real for 9:30 on Friday night. That's what I think every morning when I wake up. Oh, God. Am I still Andrew? Oh, God.
What does it mean to be Andrew?
Which Andrew am I today? Okay, less about my mental breakdown, more about the game.
I tend to be fictional Andrew and go,
okay.
We could head straight over. Do you have spare bathing wear? Just you can grab from your room and we'll head straight over.
Although I think I need to
time to go to mine, but this is even quicker.
And also the lead, the miss over there,
Mrs. Bridges.
Mrs. Bridges, thank you. Invited me to go along, so maybe we can take her as well as added cover.
I'm gonna mention that I don't want her being involved because she's. I mean, go with her if you want, but don't let her know why you're doing it, because if she's been here for a long time, I think either she might be affected or involved.
Okay, well, in which case I'll just avoid her and just the two of us will go.
That could be for the best. We don't want to bring anyone else, even if she's not unwell at the moment from this. If she's been there before, it could all add up. We want to keep other people away from this.
Okay.
We grab bathing suits. If you don't have a spare, we can run to my place on the way.
I'm sure I will have packed some.
We can say you have easily enough.
Yes.
Yeah. And I say bring a couple of towels each, just in case.
Oh, that kind of thing will be provided at the bathhouse.
Yeah, but that's like such an old person thing to do. Like, take towels to the thing that they know towels is going to be provided.
That's true.
No. I am specifically saying let's bring towels, because I'm going to go up to the room, and I am going to hide my revolver between two of the towels.
I'm not sure I'll be able to hide my elephant gun. Shall I try?
Oh, Do you know what? No, I'm not going to do that because I think it's a gas leak and a revolver's not going to help. So no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep it on my waist, like in where I usually carry it. I'm not going to hide
try and
it.
shoot the gas away.
Well, exactly. That's not a thing. If I thought there was someone in here, then I'd hide it, but I don't. So I'm not going to. I'm just going to keep it on me like I usually do.
Okay, that's fair. So we'll I guess we can start at the bathhouse and then go over to the doctor when dramatically appropriate for their arrival.
Yep, that sounds good to me.
So you gather whatever clothing and bathing accoutrement you want for the bathhouse, and you can definitely head over that way. That it's well signposted. It is the building just outside the village walls down here. And there's a well-trodden footpath that leads up to it. It's so well-trodden, it's like gravelled, and there's a fence kind of on either side of the path, so you know where you're going. It's simply labelled a hollow bathhouse, and then like tourist attraction of the season, summer 1921, from the National Herald. It appears to be open. Like it's a probably neoclassical building, so it's designed to look like a Greco-Roman building, but it's clearly it's been built too recently. Limestone. That's a terrible building material. Like white pillars, holding a portico, beneath which is a statue of a goddess of some kind. You'd have to get closer to try and figure that out. In front of it, like a 2-story building that's been painted white with these grand, huge windows, and like a stained glass cupola on the roof. You can kind of see it as you approach. It's shining beneath the at this point it would be like, I guess, 10 or 11. So beneath the late morning sun. You aren't the only ones here. You aren't the only ones heading here. You have seen. You do see someone enter as you kind of step onto the path at the other end. Do you go in? Do you want to poke around the outside?
I want to have a quick look at this goddess, but that's more just of an insight. I just want to have a look at what the statue is on the outside before we go in. History.
Yeah, I was just trying to think what the best.
Yeah, so I thought I was looking to see if there was like a religion, because I'd assumed I'd put a lot of points in that, but there isn't a religion. What is there? So
maybe history or anthropology.
I guess history, if I've read books on this sort of thing. Oh, bad roll. I skipped that book.
It's a woman. You're reasonably sure it's a woman.
Okay. But with 91, I can't even be that. Well, I'm a librarian. But yeah, okay. It's a woman.
It's a woman, and it's most likely a goddess of some kind, but who knows?
Humanoid figure, from what I can tell.
Yeah, definitely human. It's keeping it with the rest of the theming of the building. It's definitely been sculpted in like a Greco-Roman style.
Right. Then I just glance. I have a quick look, but it's a brief glance, as I don't recognize it.
Okay.
But I will keep walking to the front door unless my companion tells me otherwise.
No, I kind of just slowed down a little bit because I saw you sort of starting to go off to look at the statue, and I'm sort of like half in the door, and whilst you're looking, I say, "Come on, let's go." Which maybe that's why you got a bit distracted.
Yep, works for me.
Yeah. That's better than me just not knowing anything.
Inside is a An entrance hall. It appears to take up kind of a large part of the building, because you can look down it quite a way, and you can see where the sun's shining through the stained glass cupola, because the stained glass is on the floor. Well, not the stained glass itself, but the stained light. Mm-hmm. To one side there is a desk with a woman just wearing kind of like, I guess, staff uniform. It's recognizable uniform of some kind. And then there are kind of behind the desk there's a staff only door, and then the rest of the wall space is taken up with either art, presumably of local scenes, because there's a lot of coastal or like hillside landscapes, or just doors with the names of various rooms painted on the frosted glass. The rest of kind of the floor space area is taken up with green plants and a small fountain, and just kind of benches and seats scattered around to just, I guess, sit on and relax. It's warmer in here than it is outside, noticeably so.
Is it busy?
You can hear a couple of conversations happening behind doors nearby, but it's not terribly busy.
I'm gonna go up to the desk.
Yeah.
Good morning. I guess it's still quite because I was only woken just after dawn, so I'm assuming it's still.
It's like 10:30 or 11.
Right.
You remind me of like kids saying it then, like "Good morning, Mister."
We've just arrived here yesterday. We were told this was the place to go. Mr. Aberforth sent us and said that he enjoyed this place. What room does he usually go to?
She looks up. Mr. Aberforth, you say? Well, he was in this morning, and he enjoyed the warm bath and then the cold bath, and then he seemed to have some place to go. I don't know more than that.
And that's when he left?
Yes, he left in rather a hurry around dawn. We open early. Some of the some of the guests like to get their bathing in early before the crowds. It's less of a problem this time of the year, but during the summer we can get quite busy.
He went to the warm bath, then the cold bath before he left. Well,
that sounds quite agreeable.
Is that what we should do?
I don't know.
I'm absolutely afraid you two are about to jump off a cliff. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so am I, but I don't really know what it's like. I wish I could cast fucking detect magic or something.
I mean, spells do exist in the Cthulhu mythos, but it's not really the same kind of spell.
Yeah. It's I don't like being a normal person in this sort of situation. Normal people die in these sorts of situations or throw themselves off walls. I turn to Andrew. Well, what do you? Where do you think we should head first?
I must admit, I do quite fancy the hot bath.
It is heated with the new process.
Yes. What is this new process? I've heard it mentioned several times.
Oh, well, it's a secret. It is simply the new process. It's better than the old process.
And what was the old process?
Yeah.
Well, the old process was just a coal-fired boiler. That's no secret. But,
so why is the new process a secret, though?
Brent, the local plumber, Mr. Gates, sorry, he has requested that we keep it a secret.
Fucking Brent! I knew it was him.
Okay, good, interesting.
Did we meet Brent?
No, you.
No, I've never heard of Brent before. I've never decided to shout it.
I thought this was a character we'd met last week, and I hadn't made a note of it.
No,
Okay.
the characters you met last week were Charlotte Maximilian,
Yeah.
Jeremy Turner, the grocer, and his wife,
Mhm.
and the doctor. They were all the named
Matthias
characters anyway.
Campbell, Sebastian Lottie, Sam. I've got a lot of names down. Yeah, just not Mr. Brent. Oh, the young Miss Wick as well. Not sure who she was.
You heard mention of her.
Okay. Well, should we? Oh, is Mr. Brent here?
Mr. Gates is in residence.
Mr. Gates. Sorry, is it Brent Gates?
Yeah, Brent Gates. So Mr. Gates.
Okay.
Mr. Gates is in residence. I believe he's currently working on something. He's the local plumber, so he gets called out a lot too.
He's plumbing.
Well, here. She looks kind of embarrassed to admit that they need someone to fix the bathhouse occasionally.
Everything needs a place like this will always needs a good plumber on hand.
Yes.
Yes, of course.
There's no need to be embarrassed. These mechanical matters always need some looking at. Trying to relax there.
Yeah, that's fine. Yes, it's just the nature of the building, really. There's always something leaking.
Yes, I can imagine.
It's a lovely old building. Was it built recently?
No, it's been here quite some time. I mean, obviously it's not as old as the villages, but it's been here for since before the war. That much I know. I could find out the history of it if you would care to, if you want me to. It's no bother.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Please.
Yes,
Find
that
out
might
if
be
it's on
quite
like
nice.
a Native American burial ground or something.
If you could give me 1 second, there might be something in the office that has some information anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And she turns and goes through the staff-only door behind the desk. You are, for the moment, unobserved.
Quick peek over the counter. What can I say? Anything of interest?
Not really. There's kind of like a book that's just labeled complaints, a book that's labeled feedback, and a like a diary turned open to today's page, but like not a personal diary, like a reservations kind of diary. And you can see indeed that Mr. G was scheduled to arrive at 9 a.m. And then there's like a telephone and stuff. And
so he's probably in the building now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Interesting.
Okay. The doors that are in. You said there was some. There was the door that we came in.
Yes.
There was the one to the office. How many other doors were there?
So there'd be a couple. There'd be a men's changing room, women's changing room.
Mm-hmm.
And then like men's shower room, women's shower
Right.
room.
Okay.
Just assume segregated sexes for all of these.
Does the
hot bath, cold bath. There is a pool at the end. You can see a sign that just says pool.
does the reservation diary say what he's here for, Mr. G?
It just says like service ?
There's no like doors marked like maintenance or.
Curiously, no. There's nothing to indicate where he would be. There's no like out of order signs. There's no doors propped open with like a board saying "Do not enter."
Strange.
Is there anything? Is there anything that looks like it goes downward? Any doors that look like the stairs going down after them? I mean, that's obviously very difficult to tell from the outside of the door.
Yeah.
There's no stairs going down from where we can see.
Make a spot hidden check.
Another one, please. Come on.
It's still a success.
Yeah, it's a success.
As this woman, whoever she is, opens the door to the staff-only door behind the desk, you do see a flight of stairs, kind of in the wall next to, behind in whatever room that is. Seems to be going down and up. She looks flustered. Sorry that it took so long. The building appears to have been built sometime in the mid-1890s. At least that's what the... Well, we have some paperwork we have to fill in regularly, and that's the oldest record I could find. It's always been a bathhouse, as far as I could tell.
You keep your paperwork here back 30 years. That is incredibly impressive. I keep paperwork myself. I'm a librarian. I would love to see how it was kept and stored, and how you've managed to keep it in such good condition for the last 30 years.
He's fallen in love. Whoa, so much paperwork.
Where is it? There's... Are you trying to charm her? Because there is a charm roll.
There is. I'm not very good at it. Does this count as library use?
No, unfortunately.
How's your natural world roll?
I'm talking about library use. I am trying to charm her. I am. I will. I'll do a charm roll then, if that.
Please
if you think that's fitting.
Well.
Yes.
All of these that you're succeeding at, I don't know if it auto
Jesus Christ.
kind of ticks for you, but you can make the yellow dot appear by clicking on the dot next to the number, and that'll tell you if you've succeeded at a check. On the character sheet.
What's that? I can click on the...
So on your character sheet next to each skill, you've obviously got the target, the number that you have the skill rating on, and then there's a blue dot next to it. If you click the blue dot, it makes it yellow. I don't know if it automatically does it for you.
Some of mine are yellow.
Well,
I think they become yellow if you set it as that. You have to unlock it, put them as yellow, and then...
Yeah. No, it doesn't.
No.
It doesn't do anything for me. It just... The yellow ones, I think, are the yellow ones are the ones I think I picked as my special skills at the start, but
anyway, it won't really come up because it's a like a development thing. I was just wanted to point out you could do it. It also appears you can't make it not yellow after it's turned yellow, so that's interesting. Maybe you have to actually do development stuff. Anyway, that's by the by. You do succeed. She appears flustered. Well, I really shouldn't, but I could show you if you want. It's something special.
It seems incredibly special, and anything like this from the 1890s. Most things didn't last the war.
We were fortunate, yes. She kind of looks around conspiratorially and then opens the raising part of the counter to let both of you through if you want, or just
I'll go through first, and I'll wiggle my finger, get him to come through behind. As long as she doesn't actively say no, then I think it'd be fine for Andrew to join us.
Do you want to join them, Andrew?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I do.
So she leads you through to the office, and it's not a big office, but it's a desk, a couple of filing cabinets, a bookshelf, and then there is another door out of here, as well as the alcove with the staircase going up and down. that you could see through the staff-only door. Well, I mean, we kept most of the records in the basement, and she gestures towards the staircase during the war, but this is really it.
I'm gonna look. Is there anyone else in the office?
No, but you can hear footsteps coming up the stairs, and this is when the doctor arrives at the hall.
Ah.
He has been. He is out of breath. He's obviously been hurrying, and he kind of looks around for Officer Rolfs and sees him. You need my services. Real Andrew, that's you.
Oh, sorry. I was just like listening, like. Sorry.
It's fine. These things happen.
Real Andrew. I play Among Us with some friends from a podcast I listen to, and they keep one person on it keeps calling me Welsh Andrew. There's no other Andrews. Like, you don't have to be Welsh Andrew. I'm just Andrew. But anyway,
but you are Welsh as well, so it kind of makes sense.
Well, it's true, but it's like people wouldn't say, "Oh, here's English Ryan." You just go, "I'm just Ryan." If there was perhaps 4 Ryans and they were all different nationalities, that's a good way to tell them apart. But there isn't.
That's true.
There's only one. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah. Sorry. Say it again. I'm ready.
The doctor appears.
Hooray!
Out of breath. He's obviously hurried here. You wanted my services.
Yes. Please, can you come inspect this dead body?
Very well. So he follows you.
I've taken. Yeah.
To the corridor blocked off with potted plants.
I'll ask the plants. Anyone? Anything suspicious?
The plants say no.
Okay, good. They were my deputies before the librarian and hunter came along.
Let's see if he succeeds. Wow, he does not.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Doctor.
He, I mean, they're dead. You know that much. He kind of, he's clutching his chest a little as he gets to the body, and he kneels down really awkwardly, puts his bag on the floor and takes his time looking over the body, and then looks up at you. Well, I feel comfortable saying that they probably died from, and he gestures to the wound in the head, from being hit in the temple with, well, probably that candlestick, and he gestures to the candlestick. But you'll need a mortician for more information.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get much more from this. Thanks. I'm worried about, I think these and the horrific injury earlier with Timothy, I think they might be related. Are you sure nothing like this has happened recently?
Not to my mind. We occasionally have influenza outbreaks, of course, as any a community does during this cold time of the year. There was some nasty bout of well, food poisoning isn't quite the right word, as it turned out to be a tainted water supply, but you get the gist of it. Really, that's it. This isn't the place that murder and illness happen that often. Most of the staff live here year round, of course, but the guests generally go before anything, before they fall ill.
Before the murders, I see.
Well, yes, that too.
Okay, I need, I'll need the number of the mortician from you. Obviously, I literally just arrived last night.
No, so. Of course, although I rather fear that the pass is blocked.
So what would you do with him? And I point towards the dead guy.
The hall does have an ice house in the grounds. Could store them there. Wine cellars, of course. I unfortunately do not have a mortuary in which to store. He seems to be struggling over the word bodies, such as this. I could happily make arrangements, but which is your preference as an officer of the law?
I don't know. There's too much going on. I'm going to ask him, can he test samples of water to see if it's infected?
Yes, if you provide me with the water, I can certainly subject it to some very basic testing procedures.
Excellent. I think I might have to. I thank him for helping me out, and I ask him to keep an eye out, and if there's any more injuries, I want to know, no matter how small.
Of course. What would you like doing with? And he just gestures at dead Maximilian.
I'll say I'll sort it out.
Of course, I will go and prepare my my laboratory.
I'm then going to seek out Mr. Sebastian. Sorry,
Yep.
Mr. Bell.
Yep, that's fine.
And I'll just say to him, the doctor says we can't get a mortician here. If I wrap up the dead body in like a load of rags and cloth, can I keep him in your icebox?
He appears, shocked by the nature of the request, as one probably would. Yes, fortunately the ice house is not used much this time of year. I suppose we could spare some blankets to wrap the unfortunate deceased in.
I'm going to be like a bit more serious looking at him, and I'll say, at the end of the day, one of your employees has killed a customer. I really think helping out with this aftermath is in your best interests.
He goes like completely white. Yes, of course. I will see to it personally that. What was his name? That Mr. Rush, not Mr. Rush, Mr. Chartwell is respectfully carried to the ice house. And
I'll put an arm on his shoulder and I'll say like, "Oh, I understand it's difficult for you. Like, I can do it if you want. I'm used to dead bodies. I don't know if I am, but apparently I am. I'm used to dead bodies. I can sort it out.
It will require more than simply yourself, sir.
How fat is he?
It's just easier to carry a body with two people than. It's also more respectful than just throwing over your shoulder.
I respect the living, not the dead. Sorry, that's an Arnie quote. That's not what my guy would say. I really wanted Rock to say it, but we never got round to say it.
You might after we're done here. We're going to be finishing, that story at least.
Oh no, I know. I had it written down for something I wanted him to say. Yeah. Then whatever's easiest for the story, and I will head over to the bathhouse to help the Chuckle Brothers in their adventures.
Hey.
Okay.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
As you leave, Sebastian does go and find some stuff, and you see him like making several pointed, very urgent hand motions. In a couple of directions. That seems like a decent enough place to end, especially because I'm really quite tired.
Same,
with
actually.
that.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's very exciting for what's happening next time.
Yeah, it's all
Someone
kicking
coming
in
up
now,
the
isn't it?
stairs. Ah!
I think this is going to take like one or two more sessions, maybe. I don't know. I'm terrible at,
Nice.
at judging how long one shots will last. So
Yeah, I mean, you can write like 3 lines, and the players will have it go on for 6 weeks.
yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
I had one sentence of 5 words behind this entire one shot. So
yeah.
and it's already lasted 2 weeks or 4 hours.
Are those 5 words? Waterhouse? Question mark.
That's 4 words.
Well, exclamation mark.
Death.
Death.
Waterhouse, maybe?
Waterhouse. Spooky times. Maybe.
Exactly, that's 5 words.
Bathhouse. Bathhouse. What the hell is a waterhouse?
Is it like a water closet?
It's like a really big water closet.
It's a public toilet then at that point, isn't it? Yeah, so hopefully no curse happens for 2 weeks' time.
We'll see.
I was, as I mentioned off stream, I was concerned that the tech problems would stop me from streaming, but lowering the video settings has helped, so I think that was the problem.
Good. I'm definitely available in 2 weeks.
The 12th of March.
Yeah.
12th of March. I don't think I have. I mean, I don't. What plans can we have at the minute?
Oh dear, my
Well,
mouse
it's Mother's Day on the 14th.
my mouse is dying, and my trackpad doesn't work. Oh god, this is really rushed. We'll have to sort this out off stream. But thank everyone for watching. Thank you guys for playing. Yeah, my trackpad doesn't work, so.
Oh
Thank
god,
you,
I'm
everyone.
streaming forever.
And let's just end on a scream.